1. This is a quick video to show you how to set up a budget and use a budget in QuickBooks. The way that I get there is with the gear icon. Then I go to budgeting. At this point, you can see I have several budgets that I've created. This is my test client. I'm going to add a budget. You need a name for your budget. Should mean something to you rather than somebody else. Let's call it demo budget, and I probably am not going to save this. I have to select the fiscal year, so I could go back in time. I could actually go forward in time if I wanted to. I'm sorry, I can go forward in time, a little back in time. So let's assume that I want to do this for the fiscal year 2021, which in my case is January through December. The interval can be monthly, quarterly, or yearly. Put it on yearly, it's just one big column. Put it on quarterly, it's 4 columns. And of course, if you put it on monthly, there are 12 columns, and you can populate this data. Pre-fill the data. You can use actual data from last year or the current year in order to populate this. One of the things you want to do before you hit that is go over here. Do I want to subdivide it? Now, subdividing simply means, do you want to do it by, I have donors. Now, individual donors may have their own budgets, but you can also use projects. Select that, go here. And here you can see I have the Beaver Institute and the 2021 meal project billing, or the Gates reimbursable grant, and so forth. The point is, I can use my budgeting to keep track of my grants. What did I expect to spend, and what did I spend? Classes, we use those for a variety of things, but I would suggest that you probably want to use that for your fundraisers, perhaps. And then locations, many of you are not using locations, but some are. I have one group that is in the United States and Ghana. They may very well want to have their budget set for the United States or for Ghana. Now you can, again, it'll pre-fill the data, or you can enter it yourself, not on the screen that comes in the next one. But the idea here is that if you want to populate it from last year, for example, and then just tweak it a bit for this year, you can do that. The alternative is, I find it's best to download it, your information into Excel, and do it in Excel if you're doing any heavy-duty budgeting, or another budgeting tool. QuickBooks is not very robust for budgeting. It will record the data and then compare it against your financial documents. So we're going to leave this as don't subdivide. And then you'll notice that the accounts here are what you have set up for your company, your organization in QuickBooks. It will copy that, or it will pair to that all the time. So if, in fact, you combined 2 of these accounts, then your budget would combine that as well. Here's where I can actually enter the data. Since I did not say pre-populate, there's no data here. And I can simply go in and put in data as I find it. And this is where I recommend that you seriously consider using an Excel spreadsheet, because it makes it much easier and you can get into much more detail. For example, if you're looking for automobile expenses, you can calculate the expenses by automobile and then total it to put it here in your budget. And then at the end, you simply click Save. I'm not going to bother doing this because I don't need another one. Once you've created your budget, you go down to Reporting, and I always like to search. So I'm doing budget versus actuals. And here you can see I can select which budget I wish to choose. I have one created for a grant budget, and then 2 test budgets that I've created. So the grant budget's a good example because many organizations want to do their budgeting for each grant. And here you can see I'm pulling up every one of my donors, which obviously I don't want to do. So I would go in and customize the report. I would filter it. I would filter it by donor. And I would say I only want, only want the Kellogg here we are, and then say run report. And now what I'm seeing is the budget versus actual for the Kellogg grant that I've created. That's what budgeting does. It's handy, it's excellent for reporting, but again, if you're doing anything that's particularly robust, I would use either Excel or a legitimate budgeting tool. Thank you.